He had a canny sense of rugged engineering, and he could get others to do the work. He was developing a single-minded idea to build a cheap, popular car. He was emerging as the undisputed leader of a growing company. There were 24,000 automobiles sold in the U.S. in 1905. Of these, 2,000 were Fords. The next year, Ford captured 25% of the market. Under Cousins, dealerships were set up. Models ranged from cheap to flashy. There was the lightweight Model N, which Ford wanted to make. Most expensive was the touring car, which the directors wanted. In that end of the market, profits were the highest. There was a struggle for power. Ford threatened to resign, isolated his backer Malcolmson, and bought up his stock. There was another challenge from outside the company. In 1879, a lawyer, George Selden, had taken out a patent on the gasoline automobile. Now he was building a trust out of licensees. Ford defied him with characteristic pithiness. The company advertised, selling themselves as the small man against the big trust. By the time the decision came down for Ford in 1911, the roles had been reversed. Ford was now the largest automobile manufacturer in the U.S. At this time, Ford started his film unit to record his achievements. From rags to riches, he had made the American dream come true. Through his victory in the Selden suit, he became a folk hero. For the car he was now building, his name was coming to be a household word.
Owned an automobile. He took his sweetheart for a ride last Sunday. He was dressed up in his best Sunday clothes. She nestled close to his side. Things went just dandy till they got down the road.
This is early advertising film for the Model T. The car does everything, goes everywhere, even up hills.
Everything needed repair. So he got out and got under, got out and got under to fix his little machine. Millionaire Wilson said to Johnny one day, your little sweetheart don't appreciate you. I have a daughter who is hungry for love. She likes to ride by the way.
From the start, the Model T was a topic for films and songs. The Model T was rugged and cheap and offered in only one color, black. All work, no frills. It owed much to its maker's Puritan origins. Other manufacturers were making luxury cars. The Ford company was moving in the other direction. Ford made the car so strong because he used lightweight vanadium steel. It had arc springs which prevented the body swinging against the chassis on bad roads. It had a tough planetary transmission, easy to drive without stripping the gears. It had a flywheel magneto as a reliable source of direct current. It had a four-cylinder block cast in one piece, and the valves were sealed, protected against the dust of the road. Ford never felt comfortable with blueprints. The foundryman who executed his ideas was Sorensen, Cast Iron Charlie. Components not made by Ford were supplied by the Dodge brothers, two of the original shareholders. In charge of sales, $250,000 in 1914, was Norval Hawkins. The man who controlled the supply and flow of men and materials in the factory was Cousins. Along with Ford, he had seen that productivity could be increased if the unskilled worker's function was simplified. He designed a system in which every movement was timed to the second. Ford and his team introduced mass production into automaking. And as demand for the Model T increased, they took this one stage further. They developed the moving assembly line. The worker had to perform a specified function in a specified time. There were over 50 sub-assemblies, some with as much as 87 separate machine operations. A rule of iron was needed to see that the timing was exact as the parts came to the final assembly. $1,000 cars a day in 1914, 2,000 in 1916. As productivity went up, the price went down. Soon, 60% of all cars made in the U.S. would be Model Ts. The auto industry was becoming the largest in the country. President Wilson's visit to Detroit recognized this. Ford was of national political importance.